The biz.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jay Graham.
Hi, I'm Darnell Rivera.
And this is What's the Biz 559.
What's up?
What's up? And today we got a great topic about leadership, the importance of leadership.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the value of a great leader and in business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'll let you start it off.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about the show, and I know you are too, because we really wanted to highlight, just the impact and significance of effective leadership in various aspects, like I mentioned, entrepreneurship, startups, maybe in your community, also too in your life, because, there's a lot of us that are adulting that, lead groups, lead families.
Yeah.
So good leadership qualities are super important. And just, as we were kind of chopping it up before the show started, I mean, we can sit here and discuss all type of good characteristics and qualities of a great leader. I mean, for me, I think integrity is super important.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's a big thing, especially when you get, I'm talking from the point of an entrepreneur, when you start getting involved with the community, that's what they're looking at.
Oh, yeah.
Is your integrity.
Yeah.
How you perform in different situations, how you carry your business. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we overlook building relationships with the community of business in your area.
Right.
And that's it's not smart in the business
Not
when
at
you're trying to
all.
do a legit business, especially in the area. It's different if you're doing some online stuff or something like that. But you definitely want to keep your integrity.
For sure, because especially if you're meeting face to face, you want to have a reputation like when people think about your business, hey, that's a good guy over there. That's a great business. They do what they say they're going to do. That's integrity.
Yes.
So it's really like how you show up in the world. A lot of other great qualities is effective communication. I think that's super, super important.
Right.
It's good to have like a vision, a clear vision of where you want to take your business. Add that to integrity, great communication, vision. I mean, that's all in alignment with building a great business.
Yeah. Yeah. And that vision is huge. Without the vision, you don't have anything.
Mm-mm.
You got to have the vision. And sometimes that's overlooked because, especially if you come from a work world, I think we measure work with getting something done, right? So it's like you'll be like, if I didn't physically do something, like, oh, you're just wasting time. You're sitting there writing on a paper.
Mm-hmm.
No, you writing out the vision. You writing out the plan. Nothing gets started without the plan. You build a house, you need a plan.
That's true.
That's
true.
That guy isn't wasting time mapping it out.
Yeah, you start off with a vision, but it takes the framework of that vision
Yes.
to definitely build on. And we hit this a little bit last time when we were talking about teamwork, is of course collaboration.
Yeah.
That's super, super important. And then again, especially if you're working not only with community or in your family or in your community, trust is a big, solid character that I think you need to definitely have. Definitely. And then just be someone who inspires and motivates people.
Oh, yeah.
Like you, Jay. He's very inspirational.
Right.
Me and Jay spend time together, chopping it up, talking about all kind of inspirational things. He definitely keeps me on my toes. But yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got the vision. You've got that thing about inspiring others, and it's really, really important to have, especially when you're starting up.
Yeah.
Especially when you're growing in your business.
Right.
It's good to have that.
Would you say integrity is the same in the corporate world too?
I would say absolutely. I know I have had leaders who didn't have a high level of integrity, and I have had leaders who high level, great integrity. So I've experienced it both ways.
Right.
I could recall sitting in meetings with customers, and the boss will say X, Y, and Z, and I'm sitting there going, "Ooh, he lying."
Wow.
But then I've been with leadership where they have high level integrity, and they will say, I'm sorry, we would love to be able to do that for you, but unfortunately we can't.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes people with bad leadership qualities make promises they can't keep,
Yeah.
and that's a scary deal for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I mean, for you too, like, I know we've talked, and I know one of your values is, the way people look at your business and the way you look at, I know you have this thing about being on time and,
Oh, yeah.
showing up and,
Yeah.
and definitely, and that's a great way to start a business,
Yes.
be someone of your word.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and show up.
Yes. And you have to be like that. You have to look at it like it's a, if you're not playing like you are a big business already, then you might as well just stop. Like,
Might as well give it
have you ever been to what's a big business like a store that you're expecting? If it says it opens at 9, you expect it to open at 9,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't want to sit there waiting at the
Yeah.
and it's all right every now and then, but if you consistently doing that, like then it's like I'm not going to this place no more. I'm gonna find somewhere else to go. And that's how I look at it. I feel like you have one chance with a client to impress them, to get that repeated business from that person. You got to earn it.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
doesn't just come.
Yeah, and they'll keep showing up. And
Yeah.
they're going to want to do good business with good business owners.
Right.
Right.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. So just to kind of expand a little bit more, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to be a great leadership, like with your startup, your organizations, and kind of just go on to a little bit more details. Leadership is, when we just say the word leadership, there's so many levels to it. There's so many layers that we can go into about leadership. Yes. But I think it's really important to make sure that you're a leader who sets a clear direction. You got to make sure that you ensure everyone is working towards a common purpose, because I think if you have a group of people who don't know what they're doing, they're twirly and chaotic and nothing gets done.
Right.
Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yeah. And again, we talked about, inspiring and motivating employees, and effective leaders have that capability to inspire and definitely keep employees motivated, so those employees can show up and do their best, right? We talked about teams last time and how important building effective, high-performing teams are. My boss used to always tell me, I'm your leader, but I work for you. I serve you. And there's a book, The Servitude of a Leader. I can't remember who wrote that, but I remember he was very inspired by that. And, when you think about your leadership capabilities or even the desire to lead, you want to definitely make sure that you have those characteristics as well. But also you want to be someone who effectively leads. I know that when I was in the work world and I did a lot of leadership training and things like that, one of the things we always encouraged was innovation and adaptability, because business is changing all the time, and you want to be a leader who's able to kind of toggle when things get a little rough, right? And I think that's super, super important to have that quality. You don't want to be someone that kind of comes in and say, no, this is the way we're doing it, and that's it. You want to be able to have your team and the people around you trust you and be adaptable, because it's not all fair in life and things change. I mean, look at the pandemic and how that just kind of shut down businesses and changed a lot of structure, right? Yeah. I mean, it was something pretty heavy that we really, we were all in a space of the unknown, so, and that affected a lot of pockets, I'll tell you.
Definitely.
But, promoting accountability and performance, great leaders set high standards of performance and hold individuals accountable for their responsibilities. I think you can, praise in public, scold in private. I think that's good, a good quality of a leader. That's always something that I've been able to honor my favorite leader that I had. I know I mentioned him a lot, but he's a pretty amazing guy. And continuous learning and empowerment. I mean, you're big about that. You know, you're always looking for ways to tell us about some of the things that empower you that you pass on.
No, well, yeah, always learning. You can't, especially in this time now. I say like the last 7, 8 months. I mean years. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You can't afford to sit and be like, "Hey, I learned this and I'm done." You can't
Yeah.
afford to. Things are moving too fast.
Too fast.
Too fast. Technology is catching up with a lot of different businesses, so you have to be on your P's and Q's and understand what's going on in your industry. And you always got to educate yourself to the next step, because that the way things is going now, that business can
Mm-hmm.
be obsolete within the next
Mm-hmm.
6 months. You know?
Especially if you're attached to like trends that follow in business too. I mean, I could say some things out loud, but I'll keep them to myself. But sometimes you're like, oh, that's going to be a great business. And then everybody pours in it, and then you realize, no, that's not. Do your research.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Because
your
so
research.
that's your you got to weigh it out, right? Like if it's something easy that they're saying it's easy to get into, and then, well, how many other people are going to see that it's easy like
Right.
that? And then it's just common economics. Once it pours in too many people, then the price goes down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
value
then
of it. Yeah.
yeah, the value of
Yeah.
it goes down, and then just the ones that are established the right way will survive it, and then it starts over again. Then the value goes up, and then it goes down again. It's common things, but you got to do your research on it, especially if you're opening a business. You got to do your research. Just because something's a trend, or you see your homeboys doing it, you might want to be weary of that, because that
Right.
might mean that a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
You want to get into something that it isn't highly competitive, but also a good pay and something that you enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, passion should be the number one reason that you start a business. I know for my son, when he was very passionate about the MMA world, and he rocked it for 10 years, but then he still wanted to continue sort of in alignment with his passion, right?
Yeah.
And so he became an MMA trainer.
Training.
Yeah.
DC. Yeah.
Shout out to Crisp Kickboxing.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, that's really important to make sure that you're passionate. I mean, my career is HR, as you know, 20 plus years. I need to figure out the actual count of that. But anyway, but what I'm passionate about is coaching people.
Yeah.
That's my passion. That's what gets me motivated daily, meeting with clients and causing them to be better than they know themselves to be. So if you're building a business and you want to be a great leader, make sure you're passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because that will keep you motivated.
Definitely.
for sure. And I know, Jay, you're super passionate about
yeah.
what you're doing here
Yeah.
with New Clear Vision.
And another thing is that you'll learn as you go, because
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was going to go into the fields I'm going into now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still expanding, you know what I mean? It got into the event space, now it's expanding into something else, and I already have some other things in plan. Once you get that going, and it isn't for everybody, but once you
Right.
get that going, and that's why I love our chemistry right here, because you're coming from that world, you see what I'm saying? I'm coming from a different world, but it's a lot of similarities, and either she's made it to the peak of her field, and I'm discovering my peaks in this field or whatever. So either way is good. We're not putting down people who are not entrepreneurs.
No, not
And
at all.
we want to uplift the entrepreneurs in the field, because it gets discouraging too. So
It's hard to take that on, though. I mean,
What's that?
Entrepreneurship.
Oh yeah.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying. It's not for everybody.
No, that takes a lot of courage. I
Yeah.
mean, I give you props all the time, because I don't know how you do that. I mean,
Yeah.
that you, and to be blessed enough where there's a stability in there, but yet you're still rising.
Right.
So
And it takes being humble, work hard, keep your head down, and just keep going. Don't get prideful. The ones that are prideful are the ones that have a cushion or a backing in something else. You know what I mean? Like if you got a job and then you got a site, then you can be that way. But if this is how you're doing it, you have to work. You have to do free work. You have to do a lot. So you have to humble yourself and just be a servant. Yeah, you have to be a servant, because through that, people will see the quality in what you're doing, and they'll know your heart for what you're doing.
Right.
And the community will bless it. If you're doing things the right way, man, the community will be there.
Yeah, I find that to be true. Like when my son first started his business, I remember, I remember when I said to myself, I'm going to launch out and start coaching again. Yeah. You are fearful, because
Right.
how is the world around me going to respond, number one? But number two, am I going to be able to get the clients that really want the transformation?
Yeah.
So I'm sure, when you first started, I mean, you don't what's the word? When you start your business and you get your business license, no one hands you a list of here's all your customers,
Oh,
right?
no.
You got to like build and build and build. But even
Yeah.
in that, the uncertainty of that is pretty crazy, you
Yeah.
know, and scary.
Yeah, yeah, and I think in our speaking just of common communities like ours, we sometimes when we go into business we rely on our family and friends, and you can't do that. You got to
Nope.
understand your business is going to come from outside your family and your
Yes.
friends, and if you come from humble backgrounds, what else can you expect? You know what I'm saying? Like we, if you're doing something that's a monthly thing or a weekly thing, your family may not be able to afford doing that,
Right.
And so you got to understand that as pastor, you got to look past your friends and your family, and you got to go in it understanding that. So don't go into business thinking like, oh yeah, my auntie's gonna do that, my cousin. No, you can't think that. If you're thinking that, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak and failure.
Yeah. Yeah. The expectation is, oh, I'm going to have all this support. And then the reality, you get going and you realize, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I hear crickets.
Right. Right.
But you know what I'm saying? So just continuing on, personal leadership development. I know we kind of highlighted on that a little bit,
Yeah.
but as a strong leader who is in alignment with integrity, you want to have self-assessment, right? You want to assess your own current strengths as well as the areas that you need for improvement. You want to look at ways that you can not only improve the quality of your leadership, but also improve the quality of those around you, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, you want to practice self-reflection. I mean, we were chopping it up a little bit before we started, and you were saying how, talking about the equipment and how this works and that works, but yet by trial and error of things that you were doing or not doing, but you learned, had you not stopped and said, okay, wait a minute, this isn't working for us. We got to figure this out. You would have known or studied or researched, hey, we got to find a way to make this better. Right.
Right.
So I think that's super, super important to look at areas in your productivity, areas in your leadership, and tell yourself, what am I doing wrong here? Why is this not working? Right. And being super, super honest with yourself. We talk about it a lot. Don't let that pride stop you, and don't ignore those things, because those will definitely cause breakdowns. And you want to set goals. You want to set really good goals. I mean, I know you've got like goals for Nuclear Vision, media. Tell us about some of the goals and excuse me, that you have. And
well, the goal right now is to have this studio open, and we're working out all the kinks. Like Auntie said, is trial and error.
Yeah.
It's trial and error. So I want the experience to be seamless. I don't want it to be, oh, we got the product and it was trash, and it's working out all that stuff like that and doing that. And then, expanding from there. I want to just be a service to the community, whatever's needed. One thing I do know is needed is podcast space for people, a place for you to be able to get everything done, because we're all moving to social things, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, and everybody's promoting the business. So I want to be there to help businesses build and grow. Right. And so just figuring out those things is your because you can listen to somebody from YouTube or whatever all day, but they're not in the field like that. They're making their money primarily on YouTube and stuff like that. But I'm in the field and I'm really getting it. So I really want to hear what the community needs from that, whether it's starting a business, whether it's pictures for your business, whether it's, video work for your business, or just sitting around and talking about it because you want to start up your YouTube page. Well, that's the place to do it. That's what I want to have. Yeah. In a lot of different locations. So that's the plan with this.
Yeah. And then the business development aspect of of what you offer too.
Yeah, exactly. So helping people start their business, because there's a lot of simple things that aren't that simple if you don't know the language like that. And so I'm there to help people start up business. We're going to open that up with Nuclear Vision Media too. So if you want to get your business started, we can lead you in the right direction and then help you, from things to logos to whether to, incorporate or to just, do a sole proprietorship. Just simple things like that may be not common or a little complicated, but we'll simplify it and let you understand and then work with you through those steps,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm telling you, the Nuclear Vision Media, and I'm not trying to do a commercial, but they got a lot to offer. So make sure you definitely
Did I
hit
sponsor this episode? No.
it. You may need to.
Oh,
But, going back to self-reflection, I think it's really important, too, that a great leader also develops emotional intelligence. We've talked about that in past shows. You know, you want to make sure that you yourself in some way develop your emotional intelligence where you don't take things personal. You know, if you, I mean, when you live in the world of expectation, the only example I can give for that is I had a Bay Area client that said, yeah, we're going to hire you, da-da-da-da-da. I'll transfer the money now. Okay, great. Hang up the phone. 3 days later, crickets. And I'm like, okay, reach out. Hey, unfortunately, da-da-da. But when you have enough emotional intelligence, my thought was there's got to be something going on in their world versus I can't believe they did that.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's an emotional intelligence that you need to adapt as a leader too, because life is so uncertain. You don't want to get your emotions in the way of that. And then definitely take on leadership opportunities. I mean, I know families go to church. Is there something in a leadership position that maybe you have a desire or passion to do? Is there something out in community that you have a desire or passion to do? You want to look at, taking on those opportunities that are all around you. Like what was a couple months ago, the Visalia Chamber of Commerce offered a leadership conference. We all jumped on that, because we want to glean and we want to learn and we want to network, which is another important thing to do as a great leader. You want to go out and meet community, and that's how you develop customers. I mean, I'm sure many of your customers were word of mouth, right?
Yeah, all of it was, so there's, social is cool. And, but mainly word of mouth, like one person, you impress that one person and that travels far.
Yeah.
That travels really far. So definitely the networking is a big, huge part,
Yeah, for sure. And then continuing just, practice self-development habits. Develop your habits that support your personal and professional growth. That's when I had a mentor that invested in me and said, I see something in you and I want to support you in your personal development and professional development. And man, I tell you, that was such a blessing. And then even like internship, I think is really good. In fact, we're offering, we have an opening right now for a summer internship. So if there's anybody out there who is excited about media and want to take it on as a learning opportunity, hit me up, and we'll definitely get you going for the rest of the summer.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
So, just talking, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, there's times, like we said, there's a lot of challenges and there's definitely change, but I think a good leader will provide that stability in the chaos and bring a calm, especially in crisis, and uncertainty like the pandemics. I remember how my boss just kind of jumped on board and he remained composed and he just provided a sense of stability for us as a team because of the uncertainty of what was going on. And that was a really big deal. Because in those moments, you got to make some tough decisions, but you also want to be in alignment with your integrity and be honest to the people around you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when a family, a tragedy or something hits a family, it's usually someone in that family that steps up as the leader and says, okay, this is what our family's dealing with. I'm going to take it on. They don't maybe say that in so many words, but they say that in action, right? And those are good qualities to have, and communicate effectively the changes that are going on. I think for a leader who is in a position, that's higher up, I mean, your team will respect you and really hold value to what you bring to the table as a leader if you effectively communicate and you're honest. Again, going back to integrity.
I think that's big there because even just, as my part, being a part of something and then you see the leadership and they're sharing financial things or different things like that, and you're like, oh wow, makes me excited. It makes me want to be a part of something when it's like that, when it's open like that.
Yeah.
Is it like that a lot of jobs or no?
Not a lot. Sometimes, it's the hush hush of all the big people. We don't want to talk about them.
Yeah.
But you hear about it through the gossip line. Don't say I told you.
Oh, right,
but,
right, right.
the executive team,
Yeah.
whoop, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But when you're connected to a really great company and you have an effective leader who leads with integrity, he's not going to keep secrets from you. You know what I'm saying? If there's a potential layoff coming, that was one of the things that, we in HR, you struggle with it. If there's a reduction in workforce, it's like, let's give these employees respect and grace and say, if that was me, I would want to know. Let's just not hit them the day of, So you gather in a room. The effective leader stands there, the one with integrity, and says, hey, this is the challenge that we're facing. We want to let you know ahead of time. If you can hang out with this until we get, there's bonuses involved. There's just I think that's so important, and respectful to just humans in general.
Right.
Like, why would you want them to suffer that way?
That's some good HR talk right there, Auntie, because you made that sound really good right there.
Thank you.
I'd have been like, look, man, y'all, but you made that sound really good.
I think it's, that's like another one. It says, to provide support and empathy during challenging times. I've been with organizations who have laid off or had a forced reduction. And I mean, you've got grown men weeping, and let's prepare them ahead of time. Let's give them an opportunity to, I'm working with talent acquisition and giving you a list of, hey, we're closing this department, but you could still work for us. Here's a list of other opportunities that are open, and give them enough time to research that information and tell them on this day, this is what's going to happen. But prior to that, we're going to support you.
Yeah.
I think that's really valuable, even for your small businesses, even for, just be honest with your employees and make sure that you definitely support and have empathy for them. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, that's good.
There's another one, learning and adapting from challenges. Great leaders view challenges as opportunity for growth and learning. We were talking about that a little while ago. One of my famous things I spiel to my family is every breakdown leads to a breakthrough, and it's true. Think about it.
That's true.
Anything in life, the uncertainty, the chaos, getting a building, not knowing if you're going to get the building, every breakdowns occur all through life, all through businesses. But I promise you this, there's always going to be a breakthrough.
Yeah.
There's always going to be.
Yes.
You probably have had a lot of experiences like that.
I want to encourage all entrepreneurs, but just people in general in life, man, wherever you're at, fight through the hurdles. I always put it like a hill. It's like you're going up this hill, it gets harder and harder and harder, but just keep pushing, because once you get to that other side, man, like blessings come. Trust me, the blessings are on the other side. You just have to push through it. And every single time I've been faced with, first of all, you got to be, doing the right thing, first of all. Yeah. We ain't talking about.
You better not be out there doing the bad thing.
I pulled that lick and none of that. You know what I'm saying? We talking about when you living righteous, you doing the right thing, and you trying to, establish yourself as a business, or you're in a business doing things or whatever. But every time living the right way and all that, when I pushed through the hard times, there was a big blessing.
Yeah.
Every time, Auntie. Every time.
And I bet that caused a lot of growth too for you.
Super, because it does one thing for sure, and that makes me start trusting the process more. Mm-hmm. Before it'll be I go through the worry, the fear, but now it's like you become more brave. Yeah. Like, because you see it and you're like, oh wow, this is a learning opportunity. What am I going to get out of it? You start recognizing it right off the back versus the fear kick in and the doubt and all that stuff like that. And then you pray yourself out of if you are feeling away, you talk yourself out of it, you pray yourself out of it, and you'll start recognizing it faster, and you'll get out of those modes faster. once you start recognizing it. But understand that every time it's been a blessing every
Yeah,
time.
every time. That's good to
Yeah.
hear. And you definitely want to reach out to somebody who can inspire you and get you kind of
Yes.
out of that
Yeah.
rut.
If you have somebody that like that,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Super great.
Yeah. I think that's really, really important because a lot of times people know you have a vision, but if you can surround yourself with people that see that vision in a sense, I mean, we were sharing the other day, and I'm not going to say where the building's at, but I told Jay, I'm like, it's right there. It's wonderful. Done. And he was like, Auntie, yeah, because
Yeah.
I know the vision that he has for this business.
Yeah.
And, going back to what he was saying, it's really, really important to push through those moments that you're being challenged and you're looking at things that are uncertain. That's where your breakthrough is going to come. So definitely take heed and just hang on.
Yes.
Just hang on the best that you can.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
So just to kind of shine a light on what we talked about characteristics and qualities of a great leader. We wanted to share with you how to be a great leader, and we hope that you found value in that. And we talked a little bit about personal leadership and development. I think that's super important. If you work with a company that they don't really talk about that, see what you can do for yourself and ask your boss, hey, is there something, I heard that this seminar is coming up and, I really want to develop my leadership skills. Is there anything that you could recommend? And a lot of times when businesses see motivation like that, they're like, oh, okay, I like that. So maybe they will invest in you. And if they don't, try to invest in yourself. There's so many books out there about leadership. I know John C. Maxwell, he writes a bunch of great books.
Yeah.
Stephen is it Covey? I believe he's another great writer. Brene Brown, Dare to Lead. That's an amazing book. There's podcasts out there about leadership.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information where you could self-develop. And I hope that you guys really take that on for yourselves as well.
And entrepreneurs get involved with your community things, like your
Yes.
chambers of commerce. You got the Hispanic chamber out here. You got Kiwanis out here.
Yes.
You got a lot of different leadership things that help you develop that. And people that go there are usually leaders in the community. So you'll learn a lot,
You'll learn a lot, and you're also out there networking, and you're getting your business highlighted too.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Sometimes I go downtown and, I talk to people about what's the biz 559, and I've met some amazing people, and there's a lot of opportunity out there just for connection and definitely networking.
Yes.
So with that being said, we kind of want to start a series about this because, there is, like I said earlier, there is just so many layers to leadership and things like that. So for next Monday, we're going to continue the conversation, right?
Yes.
And we're super excited about that. And the name of the show is going to be Leadership Unleashed, Inspiring and Empowering Others. Yes. Jay, take us home.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
and we
for
want you to
sure.
be encouraged, man. Yeah. This is the start of a new week. Be encouraged and just do what you got to do to get the job done. Don't stop. Don't feel discouraged about anything. Keep pushing, man.
Keep going.
Yes.
Happy Monday, y'all.
Yes, happy Monday. Peace.